Hey there, it's AZ, and you are listening to episode 152 of the Fire Rescue Wellness Podcast. And this is what I'm going to term an emergency episode. Now, Dr. Dawes, my advisor, has told me that nothing is an emergency unless you work in emergency services. And he is correct. But that said, I recorded a lovely, lovely episode with my friend Zig. We sat down on Sunday, we had a great conversation, and then once everything was processed, it just sounded like hot crap. So, not any fault of his or mine or anything. The recording just sounded really bad. So I just found out about it about 20 minutes ago. It is 7:26 p.m. Central Standard Time on Monday night. My podcast drops at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time Tuesday morning. So that's why I'm terming this an emergency episode. Like, obviously, it's not an emergency. I could just not record an episode. But also, I kind of want to give you the permission, the idea, the whatever you want to call it, that done is better than perfect. And so I don't do a tremendous amount of editing in my podcast. Listen to me. I'm talking like I do any editing. No, I do not. Jeremiah doesn't do a tremendous amount of editing in my podcast, but tonight, as I record, you're getting zero editing. This is raw, uncut, acoustic, whatever you want to call it. If I say something stupid, it's out there in the ether forever in our emergency episode. And so when I talk to Zig, we're going to be talking about overcoming injuries and how to get back to work after an injury, all of those good things. So I don't want to talk about that during this episode. So what I wanted to talk about is this concept in the fire service of improvise, adapt, and overcome. And I guess that's the theme. It's not so much what we're going to be talking about during this episode, but that's the theme of the episode. Like, my podcast didn't work out, so we have to improvise, adapt, and overcome. Before we get too far into this, I do want to ask you, do you find value in the podcast? Because I'm going to be honest, it is much more difficult for me to record it now that I'm retired and also a student and also a professor and also a strength and conditioning coach for an academy and also a homeowner all by myself and all of the things. And so I want to continue to record the podcast as long as you find value in it. And honestly, I don't know if you find value in it if you don't let me know. If you don't reach out, email, text, send a message, whatever. So I'm asking for your help in this. If you find the Fire Rescue Wellness Podcast valuable, just let me know. That kind of gives me an idea of whether I should keep doing the podcast. So what I settled on for tonight, and this is going to probably be my shortest episode ever. I don't know. We'll see. I'm at 3 minutes and 40 seconds right now, so who knows? But this might be my shortest episode ever. But I want to talk about making connections and asking for help. So we, as humans, I think sometimes have a difficult time asking for help. But also, I think we sometimes ask for help from people that we don't necessarily have the latitude to ask for help from. I'm going to give you an example. Someone reached out to me on LinkedIn this weekend, and they connected with me first and then immediately reached out and started asking questions about what I do. And it was really unclear to me actually what they were asking. And so I engaged with them. And as it turns out, this is a person that is applying for chief's jobs. And it sounded like he wanted to, use your finger quotes, pick my brain in order to sound better in front of the interview committee. So he wanted to be able to speak intelligently about health and wellness, which I think is fantastic. in front of this interview committee. And so what I told him is that I have free resources available, and I shared them. And then I said, I have a coaching call. It's 30 minutes or 60 minutes. That's how you work with me. I sent the link, and then immediately this person unconnected from me. And so what I'm hearing, the message I'm receiving, even though it was nonverbal, the message I'm receiving is that this person thought that I should share my expertise with him at the expense of my personal life, my friends, my spouse. I don't have a spouse, but what if I did? My physical fitness training, my meal preparation, my preparation for teaching my students, my homework. I should drop everything and provide my services for free. And so, I mean, this was actually a win-win situation because this person sorted themselves out before I really spent very much time at all. They were, I'm going to assume, offended by the fact that I asked them to pay me for my expertise. And that's okay. That's okay. But I do understand that in this life, in this career, you want to be able to reach out your hand to other people and get help. You want to be able to ask for help. And I think you should be able to ask for help. But before you ask for help from someone, I think you need to make a true connection with that person. And so if you are Facebook friending, Instagram following, or LinkedIn connecting with someone, and your first conversation, your first message that you send to this person is asking them to do something for you for free. If your first question to this person is, I have a product where I am going to make money because I'm a business, but I want to pick your brain for free to help me with my business, that's really not the way to proceed. So, how do you proceed? The first thing I would suggest is, how about first you provide value to the other person? So, I'm not saying you're going to do this with an agenda, but what if you liked the information that they were putting out on social media? What if you shared that information? What if you commented on their social media posts and sent them a message and let them know how much you enjoy their information? Again, I'm not saying you're doing this with an agenda, but I'm saying you're building a relationship with someone before you ask them for something. I always use the example of dating, and you are, say, in the produce aisle, and someone just walks up to you with no warning, with no previous conversation, and just says, let's go get a steak. It's a little off-putting. You have to sort of finesse that relationship. You have to, I don't know, talk to the person, find out their name, flirt with them, see them at the store a couple times. It's the same thing, building a relationship with someone that you want to ask for help. And so you are, in my opinion, you are required to build this relationship, not just a connection, but build a relationship with someone before you ask them for anything. So check yourself. If your first conversation going into someone's DMs or someone's email is, here's what I need from you, I think you're doing it wrong. The other thing is that you need to take your time, because much like in dating, a feeling of desperation kind of smells like fish that's been left on the counter for 4 days. It's kind of rotten. And so if you are going into building a relationship with an agenda, or if you're going into following someone on social media or sending them an email or even giving them a phone call with an agenda, that reeks. That is desperation, and it's not well received. The other thing that I think that I can maybe provide some insight to you, for you, I can provide insight for you. See, I'm not editing this, so now you get to hear all of my stumbles. As someone that gets a lot of these messages every week, there are a couple of things that I just really, really despise, and they are an immediate no for me. The first one is any message that starts out with, "Can I pick your brain?" No. No, you cannot. My brain is 54 years old, and it has the expertise of a 20-year fire career, 30 years in strength and conditioning, and owning a business. My brain has an awful lot of expertise in it, and I don't know you. And so if you are interested in accessing the information that's in my brain, might I suggest to you, you start your conversation like this. "Hey, I just connected with you on LinkedIn. You don't know me from Adam, but I think that you would be able to help me with XYZ project or ABC app or XYZ Chiefs interview. And I would like to know how I can pay you to work with you." And here's the thing, just saying that, sometimes I will come back with, "You know what? I can give you 15 minutes for free, organize your questions, click this link, set yourself up, and I can help you." But if you come in with, "Can I buy you a coffee and pick your brain?" the answer is no. Because again, you're telling me that you are more important than my proverbial or hypothetical kids, my spouse that doesn't exist, my relationship, my physical fitness training, cleaning my house, my meals, my relaxation, my catching up on NCIS. Because in order to make a time for you to pick my brain, I have to say no to something else. So that would be my first suggestion. And the second suggestion would be this. Don't ask me about things, and I keep saying me, but I'm just in general. Don't ask a professional about things that you can find on Google with a search. So the person that reached out to me could have Googled firefighter health and wellness and spent a couple hours synthesizing thoughts and putting together a presentation, but instead they wanted me to do it for them for free. And that just doesn't make sense. So to wrap this up, because we're at 13 minutes, I was hoping to be under 20, and I think I'm going to do it. On my way home from the academy today, I called my friend. No, I didn't. I sent a voicemail to my friend, Kenny Mitchell, and we exchanged a couple voicemails about this. And what we came up with was this. It is super frustrating to both of us when people reach out and basically say, "I want to do what you do, but I want to shortcut everything. I don't want to put in the work. I want you to tell me how to get to the end point, but I definitely don't want to respect you enough to offer to pay you for your time." So how do you fix that problem? Do the work. Put the work in yourself. Make your own mistakes. I've been making mistakes for 30 plus years. So you can go ahead and make your own mistakes, and eventually you'll get to be where I am. Or if you want to, you can pay someone to shortcut and get you where you want to be faster. So all in all, I feel like I talked in circles for 14 minutes and 39 seconds, but I just want to encourage you to do this. When you're reaching out to someone that you don't know, so this is not your friend, this is not your relative, this is someone that is a subject matter expert on something that you want to know about, I would really encourage you to, again, build that relationship, provide some value to that person by liking and sharing and talking about their material, and take your time to build a real relationship. And then ask that person, how can I pay you for your expertise? I think that you are the subject matter expert that can help me. How do I pay you and how do I get started? My friends, I truly believe that you can create relationships with people who can help you in this lifetime, but you should not expect those people to automatically give their services, which they get paid for, to you for free just because you asked. All right, 16 minutes. You guys have a great week. No intro, no outro. This is raw, uncut, and acoustic. AZ is out.